tremendous things are happening for our country. I'm now, right after this meeting, I leave for Vietnam, where I meet with Chairman Kim, and we talk about something that, frankly, he never spoke to anybody about. But we're speaking, and we're speaking loud, and I think we can have a very good summit. I think we'll have a very tremendous summit. We want denuclearization, and I think he'll have a country that will set a lot of records for speed in terms of an economy. And I told you last night, it was a lovely dinner, but I told you how well we did with our trade talks in China. And it looks like they'll be coming back quickly again, and we're going to have another summit. We're going to have a signing summit, which is even better. So hopefully we can get that completed, but we're getting very, very close. Ambassador Lighthizer, Steve Mnuchin, a lot of folks in the room have been helping. And that's been great. Well, the USMCA is very important. It'll help our dairy farmers in Wisconsin, our winemakers in Oregon and Washington and California, our automakers in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and all over, and dozens of other states and ranchers and farmers and growers and manufacturers from coast to coast. It's a very, very comprehensive deal. It's a deal that nobody thought we'd be able to get approved. I was able to get it approved, to be honest with you, by using tariffs. I was putting very substantial tariffs, or was getting ready to, on Canada, who was very tough to negotiate. You know, we think of, oh, Canada. Oh, Canada's tough. They're tough. And I said, look, you're either going to do this, or we're going to put 20-25% tariffs on your cars that you ship in here by the millions. And every time we had a problem, we just said, that's okay, don't worry about it, we'll put the tariffs on. And they said, okay, fine, it's okay, we'll sign. It was tough. It was a really tough negotiation, and same thing with Mexico. But in the end, we got it done, and it's a great deal for us, and it's a very good deal, I think, for Canada and for Mexico. They have to get it approved also. We have to get it approved. Let's see what happens. And I think it probably will be. It should. I think from our standpoint, I know how much they hate me, but they have to hate me even more not to get this deal approved. Okay, that's the only thing I can say. Human trafficking is a tremendous problem, where mostly women, and they're tied up and they're taped up and they're put in the back of cars, and the car does not come through the port of entry. I mean, you watch this, everything comes through. 90% of the drugs don't come through the port of entry. 90% of the drugs and the big stuff goes out to the desert, makes a left, and goes where you don't have any wall. I'm going to call it a wall. You know, they'd like me to call it a barrier. It's a wall. It's a big, beautiful, powerful steel wall that you can see through, which is very important to be able to see through. And if you don't have it, you're not going to have borders, you're not going to have a country pretty soon, because we're spending a fortune. We're doing an incredible job. The Border Patrol has been amazing. The military has been amazing. I called in the military, and they've been amazing. But if we had a wall, we'd save a fortune, not only on drugs that are being smuggled into the country, and you're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of drugs, but would save it just on not having to pay military, not having to pay so much in the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol can go to other locations and other places. But I'll say this, Border Patrol and ICE, and I'm proud of ICE because they go into areas where a lot of people don't want to go, including law enforcement. These are tough, tough people that they're dealing with, and you need tough people. The ICE people, they're tough, but they're incredible. I mean, they're just incredible in so many ways. They are patriotic people. They love our country. They want it to work, and they'll go into situations that you want no part of. When you look at these MS-13 gangs, sheriffs all over the country have told me we're very happy to have ICE come in and take over, because this is a group of people that hard to even understand how they could have developed this way. They're mean, they're sadistic, the crimes are incredible. We're taking them out by the thousands, and we're bringing them back to where they came from. And in some cases, we're putting them in jail, but, you know, then we pay for them for the next 40 years. But we're bringing them back where they came from. And I told Guatemala, and I told Honduras, and I told El Salvador, 3 places where they send us tremendous numbers of people. And they're rough people. They're not sending us their finest. It doesn't make sense. Why would they send their finest? They're sending us some very, as I would sometimes say, rough hombres. These are rough, tough people, many criminal people. And I said to President Xi, I said, President, you have to do me a favor. As part of our trade deal, it has nothing to do with trade, or certainly very little, but we're having shipped over here from China fentanyl. It's killing 88,000 people a year, and probably more. That's just the ones we know about. It's deadly. A little tiny spoonful can wipe out a state. It's hard to believe. Can wipe out an entire state. A spoonful of this stuff. And in China, they have a very, very tough penalty for drugs. It's called the death penalty. And I said to President Xi, you don't have much of a drug problem. Do you have a drug problem? No, no drug problem. I said, so you have 1.4 billion people, and you don't have a drug problem. That's right, no drug problem. I said, what do you attribute that to? Death penalty, quick trial. They don't have trials that last 19 years. At the end of the judge dies, everybody dies. The only one living is the one that did the damage. They have what's called a quick trial. It goes quick. It doesn't take a lot of time. And if you're a drug dealer, you say, you know what, maybe I'll just sort of stay out of China. Singapore is the same thing. So I said to President Xi, I said, you know, if you would criminalize the sale of fentanyl into the United States, you would be saving many, many lives. It took me 1 minute. And he agreed, because it's not criminalized. I think they view it as an industrial drug or something. It's not criminalized. And as part of our deal, and Bob, don't forget to put that down, but as part of our deal, I think we're going to get a criminalization of fentanyl being sold into the United States. It'll stop. It'll stop. I have a very, very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, very, very good. But we need all the help we can get. And as you know, about 92% of the goods going into North Korea go through China. And President Xi's been very good. He's been very, very good. Now, you know, it helps that we are in a strong trading position. But nevertheless, he's been very strong, and he's, for the most part, held it. At the beginning, he was perfect. I told him the other day, at the beginning, you were perfect. Now you're good. Not quite as good. You got to get better. But maybe we'll make a deal and then we won't have to worry about that any longer. So that'll be something really great. But he's been great, and the fentanyl is, they're already working on that process. And, you know, I said, do you need any other approvals? No. I said, well, that works a lot different than this country. He needs no other approval. When I got the basketball players out, the 3 basketball players, that was a beautiful scene. I was in China, and you have these 3, you know, potential stars, and I guess they're going into the NBA draft or just have. But I said, would you do me a favor? 3 players were just arrested. They were arrested for stealing in Louis Vuitton sunglasses. And I wasn't happy with those 3 players because they never gave our country much credit for having gotten them out. And believe me, they'd be in jail. Stealing in a store in China is a very big offense. And I said, would you do me a favor? I was having dinner with him at this incredible show that he put on in a ballroom the likes of which few people have ever seen. It was an incredible evening. Melania is here, and I'm talking. And it just happened. And they were arrested. They were put in jail. And I said, Mr. President, could you do me a favor? Could you let the 3 basketball players out? He didn't know about it. He called over his people. He's got 10 people standing behind him. Everyone is central casting. Central casting. Glasses, pad. Boom. He was over. He came back. He reported within 2 minutes, explained basketball players, bomb, bomb. And I said, it would be a great thing if you could possibly let them out. He goes, so be it. They are out. I said, is this different than our country? Is this a little bit different? And we got them out. Then we came back, and the one's father said, well, we don't know that Trump helped. I sent a consultant. That consultant would have gotten nowhere.